I don't usually do Half-Life or Portal or Valve related stuff on the channel, usually it's Destiny or COD, but recently a CSGO update came out, and that update added a Battle Royale mode and a few more skins and stuff to the game. General stuff. If you've ever played CSGO or you've watched some YouTube videos on it, you probably know what I'm on about. Basically, there's a Battle Royale mode added to the game because Battle Royale is pretty popular. So a Battle Royale mode was added to the game where there's like 18 players, drop down onto like a small island, and you can go around the island, pick up guns, kill each other, general sort of Battle Royale stuff. I haven't played it, probably will never play it because I don't have CSGO, but it's that sort of thing. So that's not really the interesting thing. It is if you play CSGO, but that's not really the interesting thing. The interesting thing here is the map has a lot of interesting hints and references towards other things Valve has done or have yet to do, and that's what I'm kind of covering here. Basically, I know of this because I watched a Valve News Network video to come out a few hours ago, if this goes up tonight. So yeah, but if you want to get the full details, I'd watch that. Also, go up and or look it up on Reddit and stuff. There's plenty of information if you're into that sort of stuff. And I watched the video, went on the Reddit, searched up a few things, and then I went on Portal, Half-Life 2, and Portal, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and Portal 2 to get gameplay for this. So first off, the map has a wee apartment block. There's a good few things in it, but a lot of them are just references and hints, and could be just kind of like brushed off some sort of like, you know, poking fun at stuff. So the first one is an apartment block, and this apartment block has 4 rooms on the upstairs sort of area, and they're labelled, or they're named 1, 2 and 3, and 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3 and 4, there's 4 rooms. And the first room, perfectly fine, you can go in it, it's pretty empty, but you can go in it, walk around, you can go into no problem. Room 2, you can go into, it's got 3 boxes in it, but that's basically it. And then room 3, you can't actually get into from the outside, it's boarded up, it looks abandoned, the number's fallen off of the wall out the front. However, you can go into room 3 via room 2. There's a wee crawling area you can go in through it. So yeah, then room 4 is kind of his bog standard sort of normal stuff. So this could be seen as just kind of like a gameplay thing, but if you know Valve at all, and you know the running joke if they can't count to 3, it could be taken as a fun wee joke that they've poked fun at themselves because they can't count to 3. Hence the abandoned room 3, hence the number falling off the wall. However, there's more to it than that. So you can go into room 3, and you can stand there for a few minutes. I think it's 2 minutes. There's computers in that room. You wouldn't really expect there to be computers in an abandoned room, would you? But there's a computer and a few monitors or whatever. Stand there for 2 minutes. A code starts playing, and you can listen to the code. I think it's on YouTube somewhere, on Reddit somewhere. I'll try to link it if I can. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's on YouTube or Reddit or whatever, and you can look it up. And it plays, or you can just go into the map yourself. But after 2 minutes, it starts playing, from what I know. And whenever the entire code is decrypted, it translates to, "This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success." That is a line from a very popular song.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction.
Popular song. So that song obviously is from Portal 1, it's still alive, it's the end credits song, it's pretty much a signature Portal song, and that was the first thing. Why would you go through the trouble of putting in a code into your game to be deciphered into Still Alive's first couple lines, you know? Second thing is, with this apartment block yet again, something I found interesting was a parallel to Half-Life 2, or the Half-Life in general. So you've got Half-Life 1, which would be room 1, Half-Life 2, which is room 2, and Half-Life 3, which is room 3. So, aside from the obvious, Half-Life 3 is abandoned sort of deal, it's not made yet, it's abandoned, that sort of stuff. Aside from that, what else is there as proof? Because you could say the same thing about Portal 3, aside from the fact that Portal 3 isn't really an anticipated game, because there's no cliffhanger in Portal 2. Room 2 has 3 boxes. Not only did Half-Life and also episodes come out in the orange box, there was also 3 installments of Half-Life 2. There was Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Therefore, could it be that this apartment block is actually referencing Half-Life and Portal? Because the computer is obviously referencing Portal with the Still Alive lines. But then, could the apartment block actually be referencing Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 3, with the Half-Life 2 room having 3 boxes referencing Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and then Half-Life 3 obviously being abandoned, computers inside of it is being worked on. I don't know. Obviously it's Valve, take it with a grain of salt. This could all turn out to be a wee joke, and it could be absolutely nothing. However, you never know. So that's not the only thing. There's a few other things. So apparently there was test textures found in the game, in the files when data mined or something. There was a few like test textures, and apparently they're way too high res or way too detailed for it to just be test textures. It could be like actual sort of like test textures, like test chamber textures, instead of being just like textures that test sort of the map. So a different kind of test textures, what I mean. But a more prominent thing is that there's 4 cameras around the map. So the big thing here is that if you pinpoint the cameras in some way, I don't know how they did, but it might be that they pinpointed where the cameras were looking, and when you reference them all and stuff, they point to a partially sunk, crashed cargo ship. That would seem all fine and dandy if it was in any other game. However, the fact that it is in a Valve game, and the fact that other Valve game has a big cargo ship that is crashed, Half-Life 2, so that's another thing, that's another reference. The 4 cameras, what other Valve game has cameras that watch your every move? Portal. And then there's also I think there was a lab rat sort of skin added for some guns or something like that. And, there's a comic for Portal 2 called Lab Rat, and there's also the whole thing where test subjects can be called lab rats as well. So, yeah, it's a bit strange. I really hope it turns into something more. That's really all I've got for the moment, but obviously with the gameplay you can see on screen, Borealis is obviously seen in Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Borealis dry dock is seen in Portal 2, even though it might not be the same dry dock that the Borealis was used in or something, or maybe it could teleport a different one, I don't know. Apparently the dry dock's going to be outside. And then you've got Portal 1 where it's still alive. So those are the games, those are the clips, and I want to do more than just some sort of sick joke that Valve has decided to do, because they've done plenty of those. So people are saying it might be an ARG. There was a Portal ARG, which you'll find out all this information in the Valve News Network video, but I'll elaborate anyway, where apparently there's a Portal ARG where Portal 1 got released for free in Steam in 2010 or something, and whenever you started playing it, there was a wee challenge you could do where it was find all the radios in each room or something. But if you did this in whatever test chambers the challenge was available for, and brought them to a specific area in each of the test chambers, then it started playing a code, and when deciphered, it turned into an actual image which showed stuff, and then you could link that to different stuff, and that was the start of a Portal 2 ARG. So, and from what I gather, an ARG basically is like a teaser thing, like a viral campaign, I guess is what I mean. So, like a media campaign. So, for an upcoming game. So, either one, which is the unlikely thing considering it's Valve, is that this is a ARG for a new Portal or Half-Life game, which is very unlikely considering the fact that Half-Life 3 is probably never going to be made, and Portal 3 has no need to be made considering how Portal 2 didn't really have a bad ending. Portal 2 ended on a pretty happy note with no cliffhanger, whereas, well, aside from like where's Shell gonna go, but if you're gonna keep it Portal, you kinda have to have it in Aperture Science. So that's that. So there's option number 1 of it being a Portal 3, Half-Life 3, or some sort of crossover, maybe Half-Life VR, because that was a thing which had been talked about in source code and stuff for a wee while. There's been references to that in source code for a couple of Valve games. So it could be option 1, which is a Portal or Half-Life game. Very unlikely because it's Valve. Or 2, it could be some sick joke that Valve decided to do, which is more likely because it's Valve. However, the fact that they not necessarily have hired a voice actor for the code, but they've definitely had someone go through the effort of recording them and had people go through the effort of programming all this stuff, makes me kind of hesitant and think, is this actually just going to be some sick joke, or are Valve actually trying to start some sort of viral campaign media thing for their next game? Because they do have a few unannounced games, they've said, and one of these could be Half-Life or Portal. So that's about it. If there's anything more, I might update you on it. I might do more. Obviously, Valve News Network is the place to go because he's pretty much always up to date on this stuff in terms of Valve. He'll be doing videos on it well before I do videos on it, so you're better off going over and subscribing to his channel. But yeah, I will try. But I'm very excited. This is really just to get my excitement out, because there's no one really I can talk to tell my excitement to, because none of my friends really play Half-Life, so I'm like one person. So yeah, but that's about it. So I hope you found this video somewhat informative. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe even subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is.